I think I'll name this podcast, like, if I'm gonna do a financial podcast or a business podcast, I think I wanna, like, I just did some tests. As I was doing that, talking about different, like, investment strategies, and then also the behavioral sciences of investing or financial well-being, behavioral aspects of that. And something that kept coming up that I kept talking about was like the invisible cost of things. So if I was going to do this podcast, I think I want to name it The Invisible Cost. And then this podcast can be somewhere people can go to like hear different, like, down to earth, regular everyday person things that like may be hindering them from investing or doing business in a way that's efficient and effective. That's another thing. I think like thinking long term is very important for this kind of stuff too. Having a long term outlook, a short term outlook. So you want to have a tactical strategy versus tactic. Here we go in my business lingo classes, whatever. Because like, yeah, you want to come up with I wouldn't say it's tactical versus strategic. I don't think it's a time based thing. I just think it's the level of detail of the plan or the strategic plan or like what's outlined in it. In a tactical strategy, you have more. It's more specific and more detailed. Everything's laid out more. Whereas like overall strategic planning has like a longer time horizon or outlook. A lot of times in business they do a SWOT analysis, so you do like a scan or an analysis of internal weaknesses and strengths and external threats and opportunities. And so you lay that out over a horizon or whatever. You're basically doing an analysis of your environment. And then within that, you can start making tactics to achieve that strategy, that long-term strategy. And those maybe you break down your short-term strategies broken down into like smaller or more detailed tactics for the business or whatever you're trying to do or whatever you're just trying to achieve in general. It's just like I think that's the whole thing about a SWOT analysis is you're one place now and you're trying to get somewhere else. You're here now, you're in that position now. You're doing an analysis of where you're at, where you could be. And then through that analysis process and planning and execution, you start working to get yourself or your business from where it is now to where you want it to be. And by doing all these analysis and paying attention to different things, you should be able to, over time, it becomes more clear to on how to achieve your vision. Or if it's like an operation, you have a mission, your mission and vision. Your mission is to do what to get to the vision of this. Like, the vision, I guess, is the outcome. And the mission is like what you're working on to achieve that outcome. It's funny, I thought I was learning nothing in school. Like I would do I would do exams or something in class, pass class, and then like thought I forgot the knowledge, but like after completing the degree program, management, tech management, it's more like tech and business, but because I already have experience in technology, like I've worked before I ever went to college, I was doing technology work. So when I was in school, I still have a skill set and a knack for technology, like software. But the business stuff was really like the kind of schoolwork that like really fascinated me because like it taught me how to do things. And like I had a business before people, so this is actually me speaking from experience. A lot of people say like you don't need to go to school to start a business, or you don't need to, you could just start one. I actually did that before I decided, oh, let me go back to college for management so I can learn how to run this stuff. You know, I initially went to Pitt, took some time off, started a business to try to figure out can we, I don't know, what can I do with this? I have skills, I have skill sets. I think I'm a very talented person. What's stopping me from starting a business? So technically, I started one, right? I legally registered, did all this stuff. But then, like, once it's registered and you do all this stuff, then you actually have to understand how to operate the business and manage and do all these processes, which is like operate and manage, right? Those are just like words that like you're just throwing out there, but there's very real studies. There's a formal and structured way to do management and a way to lead operations and a way to like be a transformational leader or founder, or you could be a transactional leader or founder, or you could, you know, you could be, you know, your management style can be a certain thing. You can be laissez-faire with your employees, where it's like you let them be self-managed, or you can be sort of more autocratic, or what's it called? Autocratic, or there's another word for it, management style, where it's like you're, oh, maybe micromanage is a strong phrase to use, but like you're more on your employees day to day, what's going on. You're like, think about a supply chain. You're like constantly watching their work, constantly giving them feedback, or constantly giving them criticism or something. So that's more of like a watching over them. It's more of like an autocratic, dictatorial, if I'm using the right word, leadership style. Those are two separate ends. So you got laissez-faire. It's like you let your employees manage it yourself, and then you got the more autocratic or like dictator way of managing or leading, where you're like sort of like more on the other end of like letting people manage themselves, and then like, no, I have to manage. I have to tell them everything, what to do, by the nail, by the hammer, by the book. And you learn in management school that a laissez-faire management style is good. So it depends on the workforce. It depends on like who your workforce is, what they're doing, and all this stuff, to be able to figure out which management style is the best for those group of people. So like, and there's also other managers like participatory management style, where like it's more of like a democratic approach to leadership, where you get everyone's input on a subject, this for that, da da da. But yeah, so like what's a good example? Like people who are college educated. Let's say you hired a PhD person with their PhD or their master's or something. That person's probably going to have more satisfaction being managed in a laissez-faire way, where they get to, they get to actually use their skills and the stuff that they bring to the table, that the founders might not even know, and get it done for the betterment of the business, or the, or whatever vision you're working on, mission vision. So like a more lax management style is better and probably feels better to your employees who are highly educated and highly skilled and highly trained or specialized in certain things. And so it's okay for managers to lift up on or let up on, trying to micromanage, especially if the manager's not specialized in that field as well. Like, it's already going to be hard to like manage them. They're specialized. They know more on that subject than you. Let the managers themselves keep an eye on things, obviously, but let the manager herself. And then there's the, like I said, the dictator way of managing. I I think they call it autocratic. I think I'm using the right terms. And it's like, when is a good time to use that management style? Like, probably with new hires, probably people who are, doing job training or like training on the job. You're training someone on the job. You can take that approach of like that autocratic management style. And these words sort of have like sort of negative connotations, but they're not like, I guess in the business sense or like the management sense, they're not used to like be negative. It's just a type of style. Like, and I guess they use those words, those terms, as a way to put in perspective. Like, it's more the managers in control of what's going on directly and all this stuff, like what's actually happening. The management takes more of a tactical position in the employees' activities. I don't know. I'm just ranting. All this stuff I'm learning like business school. Like, I guess that's why it's good. I went back to business school, right? Because like I said, I started out just like doing the like registering a business. Now legally, I'm a business owner, but am I really a good manager? Back then, I was not. I didn't understand anything about management or like the science of management. Let's just call it management and leadership science. Had no clue that was a whole thing and that there was all these things you can learn about it and all these methods you can use for your business and different things and like different frameworks and stuff for operating logistics and operations and like managerial finance and accounting and all these different areas of business culture, team leadership or team stuff, group dynamics, and how change, how you can enforce effective change inside your organization. Stuff like the design thinking framework or process, where it's like you're going through a project sort of with starting with empathy. You start empathizing with a user or customer's needs. And then from there, you build the product after empathizing. And after, you don't, like the design thinking is very cool because it sort of like gives you a process to go into something not knowing right away like what you're trying to build or what you're trying to do, but going into a market, empathizing, meeting with different stakeholders or like people in the market. You're the audience you're trying to serve, the customers or businesses you're trying to serve, going to them directly, meeting them where they're at, understanding their pain points, what's bottlenecking in their situation, what's causing them, what's causing them strain, and then from there you design, develop a product or service that meets that empathetic analysis that you did and that you worked with your customers directly. Stuff like that.